Nice.
I'm more than happy to get you some ponchos for all the matches you go to.
And we've had a wet start to the year, so we've had 3 matches so far, and it's been wet. It's been a wet start every weekend so far. We've been shooting since March. Sorry, March. Yeah,
I think late March was your first one.
Yeah, March. So we're in match number 3 already, and the first match we had rain, snow, ice, wind. It was challenging to say the least. We had it all, which and I always say, if you don't shoot in the bad stuff, you won't appreciate the good weather.
Right. Exactly.
Which we had a kind of a taste on Sunday afternoon. The sun came out and it got warm, almost hot. So yeah, it was good. Yeah. It was a pleasant way to end the day.
But you're talking about just the different bags, and we've got the same bags, different fills. So we go from the heavy sand, which is 20% heavier than sand, all the way down to this, which is 100 times lighter. So we just bring these all the different matches so they can feel it in the bag. And
so I got to talk to Travis to see what he's up for in terms of stocking SKUs, because we need a fill demo station just so folks can, we'll have 3 different barricades, the slidey pole, the T-post, and maybe just a standard, oval shaped, barrel, just so folks can see what they like.
Are you saying that you want more bags, Rick?
That's what I heard.
No, and
let's go for 4. It's nice even.
Yeah, and it's not for me, Travis. It's not for. I only use what I use. Yeah. But for folks to be able to kind of dial in what their preferences are, there's no better way than here are 4 bags in a schmedium. Sorry, is that a trademark name? The schmedium?
Yeah, I think everybody knows it's a medium-sized bag.
It's a medium-sized bag, and here's a slippery, plastic barrel. Here's a T-post, and here's a 2-inch rail, diagonal. Try them out, see what you like, what works for you, and it's very subjective. It's interesting. You've got 3 guys that ride in the car and they shoot matches together, and they all have different preferences for bags and fills. Yeah,
and we do an annual survey, and we found that over 76% of people have 4 or more bags.
Oh wow!
I know,
and they use them all for different things. Like front, rear, you can have bags that, especially with some of our lightweight stuff, it weighs less than a pound with a bag.
Nice.
And so you just clip it on, and you don't even know it's there.
Yeah, but that'd be perfect with the pump pillows, I guess. Eh?
That's what I've been putting in them. It's about 1 cubic foot, and the material is heavier than the fill because I put the lightweight fill in it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we have fun with it.
That's good. Well, you got to. Yes. Because I was looking at the website earlier, it's like there's you don't realize how many applications there are across many different verticals for round, lightweight things that don't compress, or don't absorb water. It's pretty cool. Times have changed from, back then things were stuffed with horsehair and
kitty litter.
That was kitty litter. That was the high tech stuff. Was horsehair, right? Upholstery. What were bean bags filled with? They weren't filled with beans, were they? I have no idea.
I hope not.
The old bean bag chairs from the 60s.
Yeah.
That's like Oh, sorry. I got lost on the Spex-Lite website looking at all the fill there, and I lost my train of thought. But
we launched the shooting bag fill website too, just to be focused on the vertical.
Yeah,
there you go. Now you guys were aligned with the Precision Rifle Series last year.
Yes, 2023 and 2024 we were sponsors of PRS. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm talking with him about that now. So
perfect.
I know I listened to one of the recent episodes, and you guys are now, all your masters now account for points.
Yep.
That's nice.
It's
a lot of work you guys did for that.
Well, we had to align a lot of stuff, and Travis did all the heavy lifting. I just said, Travis, we need to figure that out. And Travis said, leave it with me. I'll figure it out. Thank you, Travis. I was like, for me, it was relatively painless.
Yeah.
Travis, had a little bit more hoops to jump through. And all.
So. A few emails and some time. That's all it took.
Well, think about what it would have been like, pre-internet days, right? It would have been letters, phone calls.
Maybe send a fax.
A telex back in the day. All right, let's go live. Let me just remove that, and what we'll do is we'll play the intro, and then I'll kick off the episode, and then we'll go through what's new at Tesro. That's our major sponsor, and we'll just basically go through his newsletter that he sends out every week, and we'll take a look at what he's got new. So stand by. Hey, shooters. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 5. David Schabel from Spex-Lite will fill us in on shooting bag fillers, the stuff you never knew went on inside, behind the scenes, on the most important accessory you have next to your rifle and optics. Hey, David, thanks for coming on and spending a part of your evening with us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Excited and as always, we have Travis Mitchell from Spex-Lite, a key member of the crew doing the heavy lifting. We were talking about earlier about, there's so many great ideas and not enough good people to execute. So Travis has been there and always willing to jump in and help out. And on top of that, Spex-Lite provides all sorts of shooter supporting accessories that make us make hits downrange. But first, before we get into the exciting world of shooting bag fills, let's talk about what is new at Tesro. Tesro.ca, our sponsor for the podcast. And let me just let's look through. So the best way to get involved with Tesro is to buy one of their products, and you get onto their weekly mailing list. So they kindly send an update the day before our podcast goes live. So that helps me get prepped up. In terms of what's new, obviously, reloading components is big for the centerfire guys. If you had pre-orders on any of the CCI primers or the Federal 210 match primers, they should be in, and also some S&B primers are coming in for large rifle, and they do have some inventory on Ely is coming in, expected in May, as well as Athlon and powder to be restocked sometime this month. Some of the bigger news that they've got is that the samplers are back, and a new starter sampler. For those that don't know, if you are getting new into the rifle game, rimfire rifles, you cannot reload. So you are basically forced to kind of narrow down the field of suitable ammunition by buying a box here and a box there and shooting it through your rifle to see what works best for you. Some of the things that Tesla has done in the past is provided you kind of a low, medium, and higher range of sampler ammo packs of the commonly available ones that he's got for sale, so that you can buy 5 and try them out and see out of that range of pricing options what works best in your rifle. So I know I've talked to several people that have taken advantage of that, and you'd be surprised. Sometimes it's not what your buddy loves or what you've always been shooting that works best. Every rifle is different. It's like shoes that we were saying earlier. You never know which shoe is going to fit perfectly for you, so you just gotta try them out. What else we got? CZ Cadet. So if you're a pistol shooter, there are 22 LR conversion kits for those that have pistols.
Take my money.
Take my money. And VFG cleaning products. I don't know if any people are aware. The VFG cleaning products is basically you've got a kind of like a bore snake, but it's basically a aircraft cable that you screw these what do you call them? Not abrasive. They're cleaning things. What would you call that, Travis?
Little pieces of felt, probably.
Oh, little felt, cleaning felt. So you screw onto the end, you lubricate it, and then you pull it through. So it's basically a pull-through cleaner. This is great for those that clean their barrels. I know I am one of those guys that I have a reputation, David, for never cleaning my rifles. We've got 16 loaner rifles that I travel with, and I just can't get into it. But for those that do, the VFG certainly works well. For those that are running, we've also launched this year some bench rest matches. And I got a chance. I visited Asbury last week. Check out these Tier 1 bipods. So he's got 2 basic flavors, carbon and aluminum. These are sexy. They are well made. They're precise, and they provide amazing stability. They're not for the PRS game, but for those who want that nice stance, that stable platform, the Tier 1 bipods certainly look the trick. They're not cheap, but nothing good is ever cheap, sadly, for some reason. Also, one of the big secrets in small bore 22 LR is the RWS ammo. I started hearing about this last year. A couple of guys out west was kind of buying up cases and cases, and we couldn't figure out why. And then they started posting some results, and they're getting some amazing results out of RWS. So, the big names are Lapua, SK, Ely, and RWS. But we haven't seen a lot of RWS at our matches, but more and more they're becoming more and more popular. So if you haven't tried RWS yet, hit up Tesro.ca for some of the RWS ammo. And then finally, kind of rounding out the optics choices. So Asmir is very conscious of the fact that people don't have unlimited budgets. People have to stick within for marital bliss or for financial stability. They need to stay within a budget. So we started carrying Arkin and Athlon as well, in addition to the Delta's kind of rounding up that low, medium, and high ranges. So check out Tesro.ca for all of your precision shooting needs. So that ends our What's New at Tesro. Now on to our main subject matter, which is David from Spex-Lite. Hey, David, thanks again for coming on.
Happy to be here. Thank you very much.
So who is Spex-Lite, and how did Spex-Lite get into the shooting bag fill game?
Well, our history goes back to the end of World War II. My grandfather was a bomber pilot in World War II, came back and started a materials company. My father took it over in 1970 and started focusing on lightweight fillers.
Okay.
And then about 6-7 years ago, we got a call from somebody saying that they needed our lightweight shooting bag fill. And I wasn't sure what that was. We started talking about what they needed and their specifications for it. I said, I think I have something that might work for you. And then word just spread. And we've been developing a custom line of lightweight shooting bag fills ever since. It's been a really fun ride. So we just focused just on the fill. And we thought we had it with our initial core 3, which were the 10 times lighter than sand up to 100 times lighter than sand. Okay. And we started doing that, and then it just has evolved since then. We've evolved to add about 5 or 6 new products. We've got 2 or 3 more in the works right now.
Holy crap. So right now, how many different fill options do you have for shooting bags?
On the record, about 8. Off the record, about 12.
And they vary in density and size and conformability. Is that what are the major things that kind of differentiate those other than weight?
Great question. The major factors that we try to control, one is porosity, or does it absorb water? And then it's size, it's the weight, it's the material composition. So how rigid is it? How absorptive is it? So if you're out and it's raining or you're shooting off wet props, does it absorb the water and become a brick? We don't want that.
No, we don't. We don't want that.
Yeah.
And that was the old organic fills we used to have
right
back in the day. If you didn't have a rear support, it'd be a couple of old wool socks. You'd stick some peas in, or if you were a higher tech, you'd have rice or sandblast media you'd put in. But eventually, none of that was waterproof. All of it was absorbent, and you ended up with a gooey mess. And you just basically have to throw it out after a while. Or if you had sand, it would be just wet, heavy sand for most of the rest of the day.
Yes, and we do an annual survey every year of the shooting bag fill community and say, what kind of fills do you replace in your bags? And now a lot of manufacturers will enable you to, instead of unstitching the bag and then putting a new fill in, a lot of times what you can do is just fill it in as you can now. You can adjust the fill levels, you can adjust the fill. And it's really interesting because still rice and kitty litter and organic material are still things that people replace.
Yeah. Until it rains, and then they figure out that that's not a great idea. And shooting in the rain in Canada is a reality right now. As I said earlier, the last 3 matches, the first 3 matches we had of the season has been under wet, rainy conditions, and it's you quickly figure out the limitations of organic fill when you put that bag on the parakeet and it starts to just soak up all that moisture. And then a bag gets heavier and softer as the day goes on, and it's just a wet puddle of just a bag of wet goo at the end of the day, which is just not fun.
It doesn't provide the stability and the support that you need when you're taking that shot.
It's not confidence inspiring,
right?
Not confidence inspiring. So, And Travis, obviously, you've got a vested interest in the upcoming technology, and so what have you seen since Boss Gear started X number of years ago to where it is now? What are people asking for, and what are they buying?
Yeah, I mean, right now my Elite Series bag has glass fill in it. All the other bags have polymer pellet fill, but the most popular Spex-Lite fill by far is the lightweight 5524, I think it is.
Okay.
And it's lighter than air. Whenever you're putting it in a bag, the air that it displaces pushes it out of the bag. It's amazing how light it is, and it's super stable. Like I say, I use them in the pump pillows, so it's a perfect application for that, because those are usually pretty big. And whenever I first started doing that, people would ask me what to put in it, and I would say, go to Walmart and buy a pillow and put the cotton in it, or foam, or some guys were using old grocery bags because they wouldn't push back. Like foam will push back on you, right? So, and whatever you could find. But now it's like, well, you have this product that works perfectly, and the material is heavier than the fill itself, so it works very, very well for that, and that's probably the most popular one that I sell.
Well, back in our day, we used to take sleeping bag stuff sacks and put like plastic grocery bags in them, And I happen to have one down there, and I compared it to the pump pillow, and the pump pillow is just so much lighter with the Spex-Lite stuff, and it just conforms better. And there's also that terminal compression that at the maximum compression, you've got that it kind of just locks in, which again you don't get if you just put a stuff sack filled with your windbreakers or your plastic bags. So there is some science behind using the proper material for filling. I never thought about it, because we run Rimfire Competition Academy, where we take brand new competitors and kind of walk them through all of the stuff that they need to be aware of or expose them to. It's making a rifle fit, adjusting your optics so it's the right distance from your eye, and then also now choosing the bag. And what's funny is that we've got 12 or 16 bags available, and everyone manages to find their specific bag size and fill. So it's a weight and a compressibility that they like. Whether they're making the right choice or not is another matter, but at least they know what they like, but they can't articulate it until they try it on the barrack and say this is confidence inspiring. And that's the big difference when, if you've ever tried to use, well, I remember like an over hard bag with no compressibility, that's hard to use because it just falls off the barricades. So you end up supporting the bag more than the bag supports you, because you're trying to hold it on the barricade while you shoot off it. And that's always the red flag that I say, guys, if you end up more energy holding the bag up than the bag is holding you up, then you probably need to think of another bag, or in this case, typically it's probably just a different fill, So I've seen a lot of those overstuffed peanut shaped bags that just don't work. It's more of a rear bag than a barricade bag, I guess, is the difference. So
I was surprised with the that 5524, because whenever you feel it is a little bit squishy. So how's that going to work whenever you're putting weight on it? And I was surprised how well it locks up, and it doesn't squish as much. It's pretty. Once you put pressure on it, it's pretty rigid. I think that and supportive.
The technical term is terminal squishability.
Terminal squishability, yeah.
Is that right, David? Do you guys have a term for that?
It's very scientific, yes. Yeah, so we do a lot of testing with it. My father's a chemical engineer.
Okay.
And so he really brings a lot of science to it, and we do a lot of independent testing. We've got trademarks, we've got patents. We really put it through a lot of the different paces. One of the things we can do is, if you imagine a lightweight pellet, if you just take one, you can squish it easy with your hand. But you put in a given bag, there are tens of thousands of the 5524B beads. And so when you put all those together, it does tend to have a lot greater strength. So the sum of the parts is much, much greater. And so it does, it's easy to manipulate with your hand in the bag and just really lock it in. And then it does provide that stability that you need. But terminal squishability, I like that.
Feel free to use that. It's a technical term, but most people will understand what it means.
We'll get you the royalty.
There you go, thanks. Yeah. And now, I'm also hearing that people are actually mixing and matching different
Yes,
fills
sir.
to kind of dial in, what they like. I mean, how do you manage that? Is that something that obviously the bag or are you providing the bag maker some recommendations, or are they just sourcing and saying we're going to mix and match and provide kind of a semi this and a semi that to tune it?
That's a wonderful point that you brought up, and I appreciate doing that because we just published an article that talked about the recent trend has been to blend the different fills. One of the things that you can do is each shooter, it's talked about earlier, personal preferences, and one shooter might prefer one bag with one fill for a stage versus another shooter might take the exact same bag, different fill based on their ability, what they're used to, what they're most comfortable with. We really started going down the blending path a couple of years ago. We connected with an Olympic gold medalist, and we asked her which one of our fills works best for the Olympics. And she really liked this one, the 5125 that we have. It's 10 times lighter than sand. It's a rounded bead. So that gets us 98% of the way there for what she needed. But it needed to have a little bit more stability in a certain way that she's manipulating the bag. And so we developed a pancake-shaped pellet. And what that does is it blends the rounded bead of the 5125 with a pancake shape of the 5235. And we blend those together at a given ratio. And it really locks in the interstitial spaces. So if you take beads in a given container, about 1/3 of that, even when it's full, is about air. And so as you're either squishing it or manipulating it, there's a lot of space that it can shift to and not give you that stability. But if you play with the different shapes or sizes or a little bit of the densities, that can really give you a very unique performance where 1 + 1 is 4 or 5.
Right. That's wild.
Yes.
And that people just have to, I guess, experiment to find out what for them works. And I feel bad for folks like Travis who's got to respond to consumer news. Says, Travis, I heard on this podcast that you could actually mix and match stuff. But it's absolutely right, because again, one size doesn't fit all, and there is no one fill to rule them all, right? It's more of what works in one situation. You move to a different barricade or different moisture setting, then it doesn't work as well as, like you said, with a pancake fill, you just kind of filling the interspatial, crevices there that locks it in. And it's really all about, because when we come up to barricade, when we put a bag down, we expect that bag to stay there, conform, and also provide, that key support that we need for either, load support or vibration dampening so that we can get back on target right away.
Yes. And then when you go from that barricade to another one, you don't want to have to bang your bag to loosen it up again to then go over it. You want it to be able to be firm and provide a good MPA, and then go immediately, because time is key. You want to go to the next one and have it be moldable to go back over to that next barricade or form or whatever, and still lock up quickly.
Yeah. So like a regular fill with sand doesn't do that very well. You've got to really work at it to kind of get it to reconform. Once you've packed it down, you got to shake it up, I guess.
Yes.
Interesting.
And we've got a wonderful partner, and what he does is he blends one of our polymer-based materials with our heavy sand. So one of the recent trends is kind of, you have a lightweight bag, and then you have a medium weight bag, and then you have a heavy sand bag. And so everyone thinks that sand is heavy, and it is, but they want something that was heavier than sand. So we came out with Spex-Lite heavy sand, which is 28% heavier than sand, but it still absorbs 75% less water.
Holy crap. So you want the tungsten filing fill. Depleted uranium fill. No, I'm already struggling with the heavy fill, but again, like I said before, like there's different shoes. There is not one shoe that fits everyone the same. You got to run with what makes you feel confident, and that's the key thing. And that's what's nice about Spex-Lite is you've got that menu board of options. And so, Travis, from your perspective, how many are you offering all of these different fills, or are you sticking with one right now and seeing what people are asking for?
Yeah, well, I have everything available on the website.
Okay.
Like I've got the 5064, 5125, 5235, and the 5524. So everything from little small balls to the plastic waffle shaped pellets he was talking about to the lightweight fill. I don't have the heavy fill just because logistically to ship it from Cleveland to here, you'd be charging $100 a pound for it. So we're trying to think of some creative ways to get a bunch of heavy fill over here. I might take a road trip this summer and just fill up the pickup truck with it, and come back. But
nice.
We will get it to you.
Yeah.
The shooters in Canada would love you for it, Travis.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten emails from people saying, do you have it available? Unfortunately, I don't. And then same with those blends, like you mentioned the Ginny blend. So I'm going to put that up because I'd had a couple people asking me about it.
We need to do a road trip, Travis.
Yes.
We can do the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is right around the corner.
Nice.
It's 20 minutes from us.
Oh, yeah?
Perfect. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So, and the other thing I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet, is like with the Elite Series bag right now, that just comes with recycled glass fill, like the very fine grained sandblasting media, essentially. So I'm going to add it on the website to have all the Spex-Lite options. If somebody wants, like you said, either that Ginny blend in it or the 5235 or whatever in it, then I'll have that available so that they don't have to buy the fill separate. Because typically people will just email and be like, "Can I get your Elite Series bag with this fill?" And I'll do up a custom invoice, just do it that way. But it's way easier just to have that option available all the time.
Yeah, because I think
Travis is a people's champion.
There you go. Because again, folks have bought bags years ago, right? That they now want to upgrade from the old peas or the rice or the sand and say, you know what, I'm looking for something more suitable, and this is a great way to get them to refill. It's kind of like it's kind of like that reduce, reuse, recycle thing. Take your old bag and update it with some proper fill.
We do know shooters that wear through a bag every year or two, and what they do is they just empty out the fill that they have, that they broke it in, that they love, and just get a new bag and fill it in. And what we do on our side is we take quality control and specifications very seriously. So before we ship anything out, we do a certificate of analysis, or a COA. So we know that what we ship out meets the specifications and it's consistent from batch to batch, year to year. So if you bought something from Spex-Lite in 2021 and then 2027 rolls around, you want that same fill, we got you covered.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I can, from what I see on my end, whenever I get the boxes, everything's identical every time. Every time I open it up, it's exactly like 5064 is what I expect.
It worked.
So, yeah, it did.
Yeah. Good job, David and team.
Yeah. So on the website, I think we talked about this the other day. You had some other more lighter weight sand fills. I know Matt has been testing with me. He actually just messaged me. He's like, "Hey, can I get some more bags?" And Spex-Lite sent me more stuff. I'm going to be testing it. So, he needs more bags. So I don't know if are we allowed to talk about what might be coming or.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, that's one of those unofficial fills right now. We're putting it through the paces, but we're very excited about it. So we've got one lightweight sand that's 20% lighter than sand and doesn't have the warning labels that even sand carries. And it saves 20%. It's 80% less absorptive than sand. So it doesn't have the negative drawbacks that sand has if it gets wet in the rain. We've been playing around with it, some other products in our toolkit. We've been able to get the weight down significantly, but still keep it as a homogeneous, uniform product as you're carrying it around with you. Because what some people do is they might take, here's a bag we've got where you take a heavy fill and a lightweight fill and you see if it's going to hit, and we test things like crazy, and it will segregate or will test out. So some things you can do is make sure you're playing with particle shape, making sure the densities aren't too far apart, so that if you're manipulating the bag, you don't want necessarily all the lightweight stuff on the top and all the heavy stuff on the bottom, because that'll give you inconsistent results from stage to stage, match to match. So being able to blend the process and bring the weight down, but keep the stability and manipulability up, that's something that we play with all the time.
Yeah, that's it's good to hear, because my bags right now, the Elite Series, the smaller one, the MC, is just over 7 pounds filled, and the bigger one, the BB that's coming out, is over 9 pounds filled. So it's substantial, right? So if you can cut that down, like you said, even by 20%, it's over the course of a day, it will make a difference, right?
Yeah, you don't want your scores dropping off.
Yeah. Because ounces equal pounds and pounds equal weight.
Pain.
Pounds equal pain. That's what it is. Yeah.
Or tears.
Tears, both. It frequently does that. Because again, you're carrying a 22-pound rifle around, then you've got a 9-pound bag hooked on your belt, plus all the gear that you've got slung around you. It does add up. And if you're able to find a bag that, again, 15, 20% lighter with the same conformability and consistency, that's huge. That's huge for the shooters.
Yeah. So Travis, I'll make sure we get you some of that so you can play around with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how, like, exactly what weight savings do you get, and like is the performance the same? Because like you said, right now I use glass fill, and filling that, whenever I fill my bags, I have to have a shop vac going. Yes. Just to suck up all the fines. Like it says, you don't want to breathe that in, right? No. So if you don't have that, that's even better, So
actually, what we could do, Travis, is do a the Pepsi challenge, but it's more of pick what's your favorite weight. What is your favorite fill? It's like a fill, favorite fill challenge. Here's 4 bags. Here's the 51 whatever, 52 whatever, 51 whatever. And then try it on 3 different barricades and vote for your favorite one. And that'll be, I could just take out 3 bags that I don't like and put those 3 bags in. I'll just carry them in my totes, and we'll have a little stand to try it out. The Spex-Lite challenge.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. Maybe I'll get some bags embroidered with the fill type on it.
There you go. Yeah.
So then
Perfect. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
And then just here in Vote we'll have a QR code that people scan, and they'll just vote online. And again, we'll take it across the country. We've got thousands of people that'll try the bag out, and you get feedback immediately. And then we can work in that Spex-Lite giveaway at the end of the day there, David.
Absolutely. There's
no
sign us up for that.
There's no Kragen PRS, but here's a poncho.
Yeah. for all those tears.
Yeah, for all those tears that you're shedding because you blew a stage. There's always that one what you could do over. But that might work again, and it does 2 things. One, it gives you information and feedback on what people are liking, and 2, people are seeing that there's options and alternatives to what they're using now, and say, wow, this is, and they'll figure out what shoe is perfect for them. This feels good, and we'll have the 3 simple barricades there, diagonal pole, T-post, and a slippery rounded barrel or something. Yeah. So I think that would work. And again, I'm out there anyway. Might as well get some data for you guys.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
we'll get you all the fill you need.
Perfect.
But it also depends on the applications too, because some people that do stage competitions also go out and go hunting, and they'll have a different fill or a different bag depending on what they want to do. Yeah,
that's true. We can get the tree stumps and the boulders and the cranberry bushes that they shoot off of out in the woods.
Tweezers to get out the splinters.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've never hunted in the desert where you get the cactus becomes a real issue. I can't imagine. It's a whole level of pain and suffering that we don't have to worry about. Here we just have to worry about rain and cold. Down south they've got poisonous stuff and prickly stuff.
I'll take the rain and cold.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like those Australians that can't send their kids out barefoot because of all the poisonous and venomous things that are crawling around. So
and not all sand is created equal either. That's one of the things that we also find is that some people prefer certain sands, sizes, shapes, grain sizes, and some sand is more dirty than others. So even if you're in a desert, you might want to go buy a high quality sand or a sand alternative.
Right.
And so some's more dusty, some's more dirty, some tends to carry water more.
Yeah.
And the thing I found with sand, like I tried even just using wash sand, right? There's supposed to be no fines in it. But there's still like probably 10% fines in that wash sand.
Yeah.
And then you do something like pool filter media,
Yes.
which is like probably 1.5 to 2 mil angular grains. But that's too big, right? So it's too crunchy. It doesn't conform nicely. It's like, well, it doesn't have the dust, but it doesn't perform. So it's like, how do you get that in between where, because I've used wash sand in my bags. I just emptied an old one the other day, and you hit the bag and it's just like fine dust everywhere. It's like, oh, that's great for the action, right?
And a lot of it is how do you scalp off the material so you get the size that you want. And sometimes people want the real fines because they can then manipulate it very, very precisely, and just a little squeeze, they can raise or elevate it a little bit. But then again, the more fines you have, when it's dusty, it can harm the weapon, but it can also leak out depending on what bag you're using. And so your almost full bag is no longer full as the day goes on.
Yeah.
It's running out of gas.
Yeah, right.
Not a problem. And that's a challenge for us is for the new shooters, so the series has been running 7 years now. So their minds are just blown by the amount of gear that they have to buy and consider. And bags is probably the most intimidating, because when you go to a PRS match, you've got every shape, color, size, and weight available to you, and it's hard to kind of narrow down. And I think part of what's nice about being able to provide the demos is, there's a right bag for what you think you need. You just have to be able to try them all. And luckily for us, the community is great. That says, try my bag, try this bag, and try it out. Here's a pump pillow. Here's a plate bag, for this kind of barricade. I think what we need to kind of get them to do is help them discover what their favorite or preferred bag is for now, and knowing that their needs will change as their experience and needs change. Right now, I just want one bag that works in 80% of the situations, right? Because I don't have deep pockets to walk around with 4 perfect bags for just those conditions. I think that's where Spex-Lite comes in, is being able to offer the 4 different bags just by changing the fill. So it's something that they could, again, there's also the option of mixing and matching, that at some point they could narrow it down to 2 perfect bags for them that'll conform to 95% of what they'll encounter, short of a boat stage in the open water or something, And even then, I'm sure there's a moisture retention percentage that's ideal for that kind of case. So we just got to work with Travis and get him to expand more SKUs now to try it out. And that's more work for you, Travis. And
yeah, well, I did have more SKUs. Like, I'd started off doing Cordura bags.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be cost effective, especially for the new shooters.
Yeah.
But life happens, and I had to scale back and focus on what people wanted the most, and that was wax canvas. But I still do want to bring back the more cost effective Cordura bags, the smaller ones, because like for a new shooter, like you said, it's not the bag holding you back, right? Like it'll get you to where you need to go. It's the hard skills that you're going to develop over time.
And there's a thing though, so when you move to a purpose built bag, that's a big step, because right now not a lot of people know that there is. I bought a bag at Cabela's, right? It's the standard V-notch bag with a firm base, and they try and use that for everything. And it's a rear rest. What you want is a barricade bag. Once you move to a reasonable barricade bag, then I think that'll cover a lot of what you need.
Yeah,
and that's part of the education we've got is here's 3 props. Try your current back, your rear bag setup, and compare it to a proper barricade bag, and you'll immediately see the difference. And then the difference between Cordura and wax canvas, again, like you said, is there is a difference, but you're not going to win because you're using a Cordura bag.
Yeah,
you're not losing because you got a Cordura bag.
Yeah, I mean, there's one guy I know who's a pretty high level shooter. I made him a Cordura bag, and he uses it all the time. He says it's awesome. He says, I've tried to wear this thing out, and it still looks new. And he's been using it for 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
And usually bags are a disposable item, right? Like if you're shooting a lot, you'll go through a bag a year. But yeah, he swears by it. He says, you need to offer Cordura because it lasts. Is like, yeah, I do.
Is that like a 25% differential or is it more
in cost
Cordura versus wax? Yeah.
The
if I'm buying
Yeah.
Cordura versus wax canvas, is that, you know, compared to what I'm spending on ammo, a scope, and rifle, you know, I guess you got to cut costs somewhere, right?
The material is not. I mean, Cordura is probably about 2/3 of the price of wax canvas, but the material is not the big thing. It's the time. Like wax canvas is harder to sew.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Cordura, it folds nicely, it marks nicely, it sews easy. Wax canvas can, like, because it's a cotton, the threads can come off, and it can be a pain to work with. So it's more like the labor is different and the way that you sew it is different. So that's the real difference in cost.
So that's why Dave's not in the shooting bag business.
I don't have those skills.
Yeah, I was like fine motor skills. I just want to push a button and get the line going.
Yeah,
chunking out, you know, cubic yards of stuff.
Yeah.
So the fill that you guys have, David, is that produced in Ohio and Cleveland?
Yeah, yes, it's all made in America. So all of our stuff is here made in America.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So with all the trade talks and everything, we're insulated here in the U.S., but hopefully we can keep a good relationship going with you all.
Yeah.
No supply chain issues. Yeah.
Yeah. You got some big names using your fill, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, we're very blessed. I mean, I love this community. A lot of wonderful people here, and like you said earlier, they're very open to sharing what works for them, what the next logical step is as you advance in your skills and how you want to pursue this sport. And they're very generous with their time and their feedback. And so we just keep being introduced to different people and provide them with what we think the core fills are. And so this is great, but if you could only, and so that's how we keep coming up with new products is, this is great, but if you could only do this for this type of bag in this situation, and we take our material science background to it, not the fine motor skills, but some putting the pen on the whiteboard and seeing what sticks against the wall.
That's it. I don't know how to make it, but I can tell you what you should use in it,
right.
Depending on the use case. And that was the thing, is like at the last match we were talking about, because Travis had come up with some new bags and new fills, and there was like a 20-minute conversation on what they'd use it for, when they wouldn't use it, and what was ideal for. Like it's down to, because again, some of these guys are, you know, if they drop a point, they're off the podium, right? Or an extra 2 points gets them at the top of the podium instead of, you know, sitting beside the winners. And that's kind of the nature of the game now, where, you know, you've got the rifle sorted out, you've got the optics sorted out, you've got the ammo sorted out, you're good at wind, and now you're looking for that last, you know, 1% of improvement that can get you that extra point. And
yes.
When we get down to, you know, stability and consistency is what we're always preaching when we're talking about marksmanship and precision. So having the right, you know, shooting support is critical to getting that second hit, the third hit, or transitioning quickly and stabilizing and being able to make that third hit on this awkward prop that the match directors cruelly come up with for whatever reason, you know. But that's, you know, like a slippery barrel that, you know, we had on the last weekend. It was a polypropylene barrel that was mounted diagonally, and, you know, unless you had a grippy bag, you were at risk of sliding off it, you know, or a diagonal pull that was, you know, not that wide in terms of support. So
it's absolutely
all those little things. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we want to focus on is with how much dedication and work you put in, the hours and hours and hours before a match. You want to make sure that all that work you did, you still got a stable platform, reliable, consistent platform off which to shoot.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So from stage to stage, I want that thing to behave exactly the same way. I don't want that stratification of media within my bag to alter as I go through my day.
Yes,
you know, especially if it's a 2-day match when I'm going from rock to bush to steel prop to car door to car hood. You know, it's got to behave consistently, and you know, for me, it's going to generate confidence in that secondary shot that that'll fire off. And for us, being rimfire, we're not generating a lot of recoil or kinetic movement, but there's still some. And the better it is you're at behaving consistently, the better off we'll be from a follow-up shot perspective.
As long as the fill is durable, I mean, our fill will outlast all of us. It's going to be there for years and years and years. It just does not break down. And that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on. It's not very great for necessarily repeat business because it just doesn't break down. It doesn't. So when you fill your bag, it's going to stay that level of fill.
Right.
And what we've seen is that we do get about 20% repeat, but it's because they get different bags. They want to try different fills.
Exactly.
And most of our business comes from just referral because they see someone, their bag is holding up over the weekend. Well, what's in there? Well, just try a Spex-Lite. And then you have this whole smorgasbord of options of what fill might be best for you, for your bag. And you can make it your own. You want to make sure that it's customizable.
For
and
sure.
Just make sure every shot counts.
And you're talking about consistency too, is like people use bags differently, right? Like some people will go peaks down all the time. Some people on different props will put the bag sideways. So like you said, if your fill is uniform, it shouldn't matter which orientation your bag is in. It'll perform whatever way that it's placed, right? So
I think that's the thing is as the sport evolves, as the game gets higher and higher, people are now, so instead of 2 bags, you're looking at a golf bag's worth of bags, right? You've got 12 different clubs that you're working with based on it's that kind of prop you're going down to. It's a 3-inch diameter pole versus a 1-inch diameter, so I'm going to go with this fill, this size bag. So it's kind of a mix and match. And then you've got this bag caddy that brings out the bags for you. And again, it sounds funny now, but that's the decisions people are making now. For this barricade, I'm going to use the smaller bag because the ports are smaller and it's a narrower diameter of pole. Whereas if I'm shooting off the top of a barrel, it doesn't really matter. I just want something that provides immediate support that doesn't give too much, so I can just hold that same shooting angle. So it's pretty wild.
And again, what we found is over 3/4 of people have 4 more bags just for that reason. They just want to have Travis do more SKUs.
Yeah. Well, I took 4 on the weekend at the competition, right? Like I had my pump pillow, and I had my rail bag, and then I had the Elite Series, the small one, the MC, and the big one, the BB. So it's like, and I didn't use the rail bag, but I used the other 3.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's the right number, except you just have to multiply that by fill type, right?
Yeah.
That's the assortment, because the rail bag is good if you're traversing a long rail, just pick up and go, or you're going in and out of multiple ports. Yeah. Multi-port scenarios where you're like a sewing machine getting in and out of ports all the time. You'll see that in the next match, Travis. We're going to use all 10 ports of that barricade. And they're small, so you can't get a medium in there. It's going to be a rail bag or nothing.
I had a hard time getting the big bag in there. I was shoving it in. I was like, come on.
I know.
I spent more time getting it in than actually shooting.
You think those barricades are just happen to be that size, right? No, there's a science in terms of frustrating people.
That's funny.
Well, and as I matched not that long ago, and it was a father and son were shooting together. And so the father had like a pretty heavy bag, and his son had a different fill in the exact same bag.
Yeah.
Because the son just didn't have yet the muscle mass to be able to carry his rifle and the bag with him. And so he had the exact same bag, but a lighter fill inside of it.
Yeah. It makes a difference. I mean, it's night and day. And, and when I tell, my advice to new shooters is to kind of get together with a bunch of people that they like shooting with and just pool your money together to get all the stuff you want. It's like a chronograph is a big ticket item. You don't need all of that at the same time. So get a good one. You're looking at shooting bags. You're not going to use all the shooting bags at every stage, but if you want to get an assortment, have your 4 buddies chip in and get the assortment you guys want. Make sure you're all using the same type of clamping system if you're using a rail bag, and then you're off to the races. I mean, it sucks for Travis on his sales because we're pooling money, but it gets guys just getting into the game, so you don't have to spend like $10,000 worth on gear.
If it gets people shooting, it's all good, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually they'll get hooked and they'll say, I want my own Boss Gear bag.
I want my own. I don't want to share anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because they have this custom Ginny fill that they want to use.
And then you can tweak it from there.
Well, that's the cool part is that's the opportunity now, and it's going to drive Travis nuts because he's going to get like half bag this, half bag that, or a third of this, a third of that. He becomes like a perfume maker,
Yeah.
He's decanting from different Spex-Lite, decanters to make the custom order.
What I'll probably do is I think my minimum size is 2 liters. I'll probably just put a 1 liter size on there, and then people can come and they can mix and match themselves, right? Like, I want a liter of this, a liter of that, liter of this.
Sell them 2 liters, man.
Yeah.
Just sell them 2 liters. Make them buy twice as much. If you want to be custom, you got to buy the whack.
That's funny.
Whack load of fill.
And we see a lot of times that about 1 in every 3 orders is a combination order. So they're buying more than one product at a time.
Huh.
Okay.
Just so they can, well, I think I might want this fill. What about this fill? What about this different situation? Let me just get a few and just play with it and see which one does work best for me.
That's it.
Instead of getting one, trying it, and then getting the other one. It's a narrow window of a season. So they want to just get multiple fills.
I know.
Either they get multiple bags they're trying to fill in, or they just want to eat different fills in the same bag.
That's true. So you could actually end up doing your own little Boss Gear sampler pack.
That's a good idea.
A liter of this, a liter of that, a liter of this, a liter of that. And then here's 3 bags. You just need to find a way to be able to sift them all out if you want to reuse the fill, to make one magnetic or one, photosensitive or something. I don't know. So you can quickly filter them all out, sift them all out just to make it easy. Or if you're Travis, just keep selling them sampler packs until they get it right.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I think.
I think or one floats and one sinks. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but it's true though, because we're getting to that point in specialization where guys are now, it's like the science of, I can't tell you it's a super secret fill combination I used. It's Spex-Lite A and Spex-Lite B, with a little bit of C thrown in just to top it off,
So, I have a question about the lightweight fill. So one of the biggest things is the static charge on it.
Yes, sir.
Is there a way to deal with that? Like, can I throw like a dryer sheet in there? Will that take the static away, or you just got to live with it?
Absolutely. So for people who don't know, as you go lighter in weight, you tend to have the ability to generate a little bit more static. So the 5524B is 1/100th the weight of sand, and it's also the most staticky product. It's the most weight savings. Once you get it in the bag, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But getting it in the bag is a bit of a challenge. So getting in the bag, you don't want to use plastic funnels or plastic scoopers. You want to use like glass or metallic products to scoop in a fill. You can use like a dowel rod, like a wooden dowel rod, to make sure you get it in the crevices. Because, like I said earlier, it's so lightweight. If you just try and pour it, if there's a cross breeze,
I never thought of that.
Yeah,
I could see Travis walking out of the workstuff just covered in
I have that stuff everywhere. It is everywhere.
Or if you sneeze, man, watch out. That stuff flies.
Like I said, just the air that it displaces going into the bag pushes it out. Like, because whenever I get an order of whatever 16 liters of it, I use like you said, a glass measuring cup. But I dump it into a plastic bag in a box, and it's like every time I'm dumping it in, you can see it moving all over the place. I was like, how can I get rid of this static?
But it's kind of like a volcano just going.
Yeah.
So we actually do have thank you for bringing that up. We actually do have a video, because that was a very common piece of feedback from people a couple of years ago. So if you just go to like a local dollar store and you get a little anti-stat spray, you just put the fill in a bag, spray it with a couple of sprays of the anti-stat spray, shake it up a little bit, you're good to go. Huh. It doesn't make it any heavier, nope. But it will mitigate about 90-95% of the static. So you put it in a bag, but when you spray it, the force of the spray will actually kick it back out at you again. So, so you kind of have a little bit open, spray it in, a couple of seconds, seal it closed, shake it up, spray a little bit more, shake it up, you're good to go.
Yeah, because I even find like at the end of a like it comes in a big box, right? So even and there's a bag inside of it. There's probably it's a plastic bag inside of it. There's probably like 5% of the product that is stuck to the bag on the inside. That it's like I can't do anything to get this off. Like you try and move it, and it is stuck to that to the wall. So it's like
those Spex-Lite guys are pretty smart, eh? It's you only get 95% of what you only get usable 95% of every order.
But we're smart because there's a little hidden camera. So he's like, "Oh, come on!" And that's great footage.
Well, Travis, we thank you for all the effort you put into to making it work. See, we never see this behind the scenes thing of you just fighting this polymer snowstorm in trying to get stuff out of a bag.
I was cutting material today, so cutting the rubber grippy fabric, and about 10 times I'm feeling the fabric like, what is this? Pick it up. Spex-Lite fill. Pick it up. Spex-Lite fill. This stuff is everywhere back there. I've given up, but it's a good problem to have.
You need whatever the CDC uses for hazardous, biotoxins. You need that kind of Spex-Lite fill room where you go through a clean door. Negative pressure or something just to keep the beads away from your other work surface.
Yeah, my space is limited, so I'm doing fulfilling my orders on the same table as I cut my material on right now. So
I hear
that's
you.
The limiting factor.
I completely understand the situation.
So there is actually a military grade anti-stat, and you can use that to coat the beads. It's extraordinarily expensive, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So just the cheap alternative is go on Amazon or a local store and get the little $5 anti-stat spray, and that'll last you for a very long time.
I'm going to do that.
Travis,
the good thing is it sticks. It doesn't stick. I'm sorry, but it stays with the bead and it keeps it anti-stat for a very, very long time.
Nice.
There you go.
But do take a video of yourself before and after.
Yeah,
I want to see this.
Now I have
just walking out like a snowman. Just cling film. Yeah, wear like a wool sweater or something while you're there.
Yeah.
Wear a white shirt and you'll walk out salt and pepper. And
yeah, that's funny. I guess the other thing I find, so the other question I get all the time is, how much fill do I need? Right. And I always just send them to the Shooting Bag Fill website because you guys have the bag fill calculator on it. So it spits out that for, you need this many liters, but it also says for each product, this is how much it'll weigh in your bag. Right. So I find that a pretty useful tool for people wondering, I have a medium-sized bag. So it's, how much do I need? 2 liters, 4 liters, 6 liters? It spits that out for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yes. So we got that question a lot when we first got started. And so we just used math and a calculator and figured out how much fill based on the length, width, and height. Now, not every bag is that simple to calculate, but it gives you a really good approximation. You fill in what you know about your bag, and it will tell you. We've got sand as a reference. So if your bag is filled with sand, how much will it weigh if it's fully full? So you can, if you like your bag 80% full, just take that number and multiply that by 0.8. But the calculator does a lot of the work for you, and it tells you our most commonly available popular products, how many liters you'll need. That's constant. They'll tell you how many pounds you should expect for that bag. So if you know you want your bag to weigh a certain weight, you can compare it. You can just plug in the numbers and see what weight you want, and now you know what to buy.
That's cool. That is so useful.
Yeah. And I find too, not because it calculates the volume of a cube, right? So, but if your bag is not a cube, like mine's W-shaped. Well, that little bit that's taken out, you take that as waste, right? So you'd rather have too much than not enough. So it's, if it says you need 2 liters, you might use 1.5 liters and have a little bit left over. Or, if you drop it on the floor while you're filling because you're using a plastic funnel and static is putting it everywhere, So it's, it does give you a little bit more than you need probably because there's not very many PRS bags that are perfect rectangles or perfect.
No.
Yeah. So it's pretty accurate I've played around with it a lot, and yeah, it's definitely probably my most referred thing whenever it comes to fill, because that's always the question I get.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and we can always tweak it a little bit more to say if it is this shape of a bag, but then understand the different dimensions of this compartment, this container. How big is the triangle on the?
Yeah, and you got those wee bad fortune cookies.
Yeah.
Yes.
The horse collar one.
Oh yeah, the big one.
I don't know how you measure that one, but no, that's awesome.
You're gonna have to 3D scan it.
Have to bring it in house.
Yeah.
That gets involved. That's specialization to a whole nother level. No, that's
They'll
awesome.
just take the 25% waste.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's insurance, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some guys don't like to fill 100%. I find, roughly I'm like 80%. I like a little slack in there for that conformability. But it depends on the fill. Like you said, it's also user preference, right?
Yeah. And typically when I ship my bags, I overfill them because I'd rather them have too much fill than not enough. So it's like,
and you got to know that though. A lot of the new guys don't know that it's something to be tuned.
Yeah.
So they just take it as is, and I got this great bag. I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
But really, it's something you got to play with.
Yeah, and thank you, Travis, for shipping full, because not everybody would, and then you're getting a situation where we get calls all the time. Hey, I got this awesome bag, but it came empty.
Yeah.
What do I fill it with? Or I thought I had fill. How do I get the fill? And so just what you do is you provide a wonderful customer experience. So if they get a bag just before they go out for a training, before a match, they can actually use it. And so that's a great benefit you provide. And Rick, like you said, as people get more experience with using bags, they do tend to take out more. So it can contour around a prop, and they do have that room to squeeze it, so they can just make those micro adjustments that they need. And so typically what we see is it's about 75 to 80% full, as opposed to being 100% full. And then you put it on the prop and you just mirror that prop, and you don't get the ability to wrap around it or form around it if it's at an angle. So thank you both.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty good. It's one of those things that very few people think about. Not all bags are created equal. Not all fill. A bag is two things. One is the outer fabric, and arguably the more important one is the fill and how it performs on every surface that you're trying to adapt it to. So
two sides of the same coin, but both need to be thought about.
Yeah, I'm liking that waxed canvas though. I'm a convert now.
Yeah,
it's
me
the
too.
Way to go. The way to go.
It really is. It performs so well.
How sad is my life when I was watching your waxing your canvas video
Did you
before
watch
the match?
Yeah.
This is how sad my life is. I'm watching Travis heat up a bag with a heat gun and waxing it. It's like I gotta get a life.
It's therapeutic.
That was one of my most watched videos. But I thought it was gonna pour rain, right? So that's why I was like, I'm gonna sock the wax onto this thing. I was waterproofing everything before that match. I redid my coat, my pants, I waxed my boots, and I was like, I gotta wax these bags too.
Well, if I hadn't set up at Friday, you would have seen it at 6 a.m. on Sunday, and it was pouring.
Yep.
I was out there just dropping targets down. I was like, oh man, I'm so happy Travis isn't here to experience this.
I was driving in it. It was snowing sideways Saturday.
It was miserable. I was like, oh man, this is like the match director experience. Just come on out. Everybody wants to be a match director until it's time to do match director stuff. Ending up in the pouring rain in the cold, and it's dark.
It's not all it's cracked up to be. Eh?
No. But man, we had beautiful sunshine like second half of the day, so I was happy for everyone.
It was just the wind was insane. Like it shot to shot, it would switch direction. I don't know what to do. Hold left edge.
It doesn't matter. Whatever you do is wrong.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. Do what you were going to do 2 minutes from then it would have been the right one.
Yeah, you got to take the George Costanza approach to it, right? If everything I do is wrong, then I should do the opposite. It has to be right.
On Sunday might have been the right call.
Yeah.
Because guys couldn't figure out their calls because they'd miss left, they'd miss right. No matter which way you held, it was always the wrong one.
Yeah.
Just one of those days.
Yeah. It was fun though.
Yeah. Saturday was beautiful though.
Yeah.
Zero wind.
Well,
We were stacking rounds on each other at 100, so we're getting, dime sized groups at 100, which was nice. That rarely happens. It's like one day a year. So
nice whenever you're shooting paper. Eh?
Yep. You get that feedback. Oh, I do have a nice rifle.
Yeah.
So, or oh, geez, I can't shoot. It's one of those two things. Awesome.
It's always comforting.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But those strong winds, you gotta, if you do use the ultralight Spex-Lite fill, gotta make sure your bag doesn't blow away.
Yeah,
I never thought about that. I never thought about that issue. Like the pump pillows are super light.
Yeah, what we did was, before we started filling all the bags with the different fills, people can actually shoot off of it. We made a cornhole kit, and so we had, instead of having 4 regular cornhole bags, we added a 5th for each one. So one of them was our heavy sand, and one of them was our ultra lightweight. Yeah. And so you'd be out there, you'd be playing, and then what's this one? And they wouldn't even hit the board. One because it would go 3 feet in front of them, the other one would go. They go flying. It got hit with the cross breeze and wound up 15 feet in the other direction.
All right, Travis, we got another SKU for you. It's the Boss Gear Cornhole game, mixed media.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Just four bags. 4 bags.
Cornhole bags. Cool. All right. I can make those out of Cordura too.
Yeah, they're like 4 inch
wax them down.
There's probably a standard cornhole bag size out there.
It's funny because not too long ago, I think last summer, my mom messaged me. She's like, "Hey, I need some fill." So she was making bags for cornhole for down at the cottage. She's like, "All right, I got some for you."
There is. I'm on the American Cornhole Association website. 6 by 6 by 1.
Oh, is that what
14,
it is?
Yeah. Official weight is 14 to 16 ounces. So here's the cool part. Yeah, you need to make bags based on the regulation weight. So you have to vary the size to meet the weight.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So your super light fill is going to be like 2 feet by 2 feet by 6 inches, which is great, right? So there's a regulation cornhole, and here's the Spex-Lite options. Right?
we actually did something like that a number of years ago. Was someone said, "Well, how much does your stuff weigh?" And instead of doing like a pound of fellers versus a pound of lead, we took a 5-gallon pail, filled it with sand. And then we had one of our super sacks, which is about 4 feet by 4 feet by 5 feet of our ultra lightweight. They weighed the same. So you've got this little pail and you've got this huge bag.
That's wild.
It's like as big as a man. Yeah. They weigh the same.
So we had one guy about 4 years ago bring the one bag to rule them all. It was like the super bag. It was like a beanbag chair.
I saw that at SHOT Show a couple years ago. It was a massive bag.
I think it was Armageddon Gear that had that.
It's the big ass bag. I think they call it.
They just draped it over the prop and then just shot in it, on it, off it. I don't know what it was, but
slept on it later.
Yeah, that's wild. No, that's cool. Yeah, the science of bag fill. Again, it's we all rely on it, but we never think about what kind of thought process or engineering goes into it. Man, I don't know how you survive. Both of you guys, just you have to deal with the realities and dumb it down for us and say small, medium, or large, light, medium, or heavy, right?
Well, we get asked a lot because all our products have different numbers except for the heavy sand. And they have different numbers simply because we keep tweaking them. And so instead of changing the product and you not knowing what you got a couple of years ago or what to refer a friend to, we just had the different numbers mean different things internally for different product aspects.
Right.
And we just keep on tweaking, and I love it. It's so much fun. Just talking to people around the world of even people in different disciplines. Well, you got F-Class, PRS, Mammoth, NRL. Like they all want different fills to do different things. And then depending on where in the country or part of the world you are, it varies. And
For
it's just
sure.
fun. Every day I get taught somebody from spin the globe, put your finger on it. And
That's wild.
it's a
You're a
blast.
lucky guy, Dave. You're a lucky guy.
I'm
You
very
get
blessed.
to live the dream.
Yeah,
It's
well, I don't
family
get to go
business,
to all
right?
those places, but
Not yet. Not yet. So
Sounds like a Spex-Lite tour is coming up.
Yeah. So you're third generation in
Yes, sir.
Spex-Lite? Nice.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my kids
great.
love coming in on the weekends and doing the sample kits and the demo bags and things
That's
like that.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great story. And again, it's for us, it's, we just take it for granted that we've got something that holds up our rifles when we're shooting. But for you, it's your livelihood. It's 3 generations and soon to be a 4th generation of your family kind of doing it. And first generation for Boss Gear,
Yeah.
And again, it's all across Canada. People are shooting the combination of what you guys have put together. So thank you guys very much for all the work you put into it. We just get to reap the benefits.
Well, we just want happy customers. Right?
Yes,
So if they're happy, we're happy.
Well said.
There you go. I'm not happy. I got 3 totes of bags to carry around.
Soon it's going to be 4, right?
yeah, me and my big mom.
The Spex-Lite challenge is coming up. You gotta have.
Well,
a
there you go.
just for that.
See, but again, I'm happy to support because people don't know unless you show them the options, right? And for me, whether the trailer is 85% full or 90% full, it's the same. It's when I get to 110% full that becomes a problem for me.
Bigger trailer.
I still got a little room.
Trailer.
I know. Bigger trailer means bigger truck, so it's going to be like a 3/4 ton or 1 ton.
You know what's going to happen is you need to send one of the super stack bags to Rick, and then you can put it in your trailer, use it for a bed of the lightweight fill.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. You can't shoot that bag right now because I'm using it as my couch. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, see, we've actually gotten feedback from Special Forces who will make it double when they're on a mission as a pillow.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, nice. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, so you need to make your pump pillows half height or Velcroable so they can open up as a pillow.
I did think of that at one point. But yeah, that would be a good idea.
Or just Fastex buckle them together or something.
Just wedge.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
There's always something next. That's what I love about it.
I know. So what are you guys working on, down the road? Is that something you can share? Or is there anything going on that we want to stay tuned, or you and Travis working together on the one fill to rule them all, or
I don't think we'll ever get that one fill, but
no.
Yeah, I love to work with Travis and a couple of those things we're working with Matt on and get you what you need to support your customers. And we've got a couple of new fills in the pipeline. I'll make sure we get to you.
Nice.
And I do appreciate the opportunity to work with your bags that you take as demo bags, just over the different stages of what's the feedback. And from that, I'm excited to see what comes next. And I'm sure my kids would love to make what you need.
There you go. That's awesome.
Our daughter has the best handwriting in the company. She's fantastic at it.
Oh, nice.
And she's teaching our son the other weekend how to properly fill a sample.
Oh,
There
nice.
He's a quick learner, so I'm pretty soon going to be out of a job.
Free labor. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
It's not free. It's not free.
It's not free. That's awesome. Hey, Dave, thanks so much for your time. And thanks for all you do for all of us shooters out here. We really appreciate the thought and care that you put into the products. It ends up in Travis's bags. It ends up on our barricades across Canada. So it is appreciated. Not always known and understood, but once you dig deep, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes to make that stuff happen. So thank you very much to you and your family for the many generations that you guys have been working on this. So I don't think when they started in the 1940s or 50s that they saw, being on the PRS scene, but geez, it's critical to what we do. So thank you very much.
It's a real pleasure and a privilege, and thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for what you do to grow the sport. It's fantastic.
It's a ton of fun. It's all about the community. I mean, we got great people. I mean, I wouldn't have met Travis if all this stuff didn't happen. I wouldn't have met you. So it's all good. It's all part of that. As we go around the sun every year, it's more and more people get added to our list of people we know. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Travis, thank you very much, buddy. What's going on with Boss Gear? What are you working on? Anything you want to share with the general public, or is it still hush hush?
Well, I put my application in for my firearms business license yesterday.
You just want
Oh.
a suppressor and a full auto. That's all you want.
You're not supposed to say the secrets now. No, it's yeah. So
That's awesome.
Hopefully we can get set up with that. I don't know what kind of turnaround times they have, but that's something in the making. And I'm just trying to reach out to companies that kind of have similar goals as I do. Like same with Spex-Lite, right? Like you want the customer service to be number one and make a good product and care about your product. So I'm trying to work with people that that have the same viewpoint and offer a great product and that isn't available in Canada. So it's working on that. If people have suggestions, I'm always open to it. If it makes sense, then I'll definitely do it, because my goal is to get whatever people want into their hands.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
and
awesome.
To do it quick and efficient and make more bags.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for doing that. I mean, is this your third year now, Travis?
Yes.
Fourth? Third year.
Third year. Yeah. So,
third year. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I see your bags all across Canada, man.
It's great.
It's awesome. I was in a match in Courtney, British Columbia, which is like on the other side, or off Vancouver Island, which is kind of like Seattle, and then walk into the water. That's kind of where that is.
I think that was one. That guy was, I think, one of the first bags I ever sold.
And he was using it. Using it well too. So
yeah. Very durable.
They are, yeah. That is for sure.
It's a temperate rainforest out there. It's always so winter is just rain all the time. It's like Seattle. So it's a good test for that. I think it was a Cordura bag. It wasn't a wax canvas.
Yeah, I think the green Cordura likely.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be upgrading to a wax canvas soon. Once he watches that video and he finds out about the Spex-Lite fills you got on offer now. So
yeah. So
that's awesome.
Hopefully in the near future we'll have some more things to announce. But yeah, just
keep on keeping on.
That's what we do.
Hey David, thanks again to you and your family for all that you guys do, and Travis, thank you very much for all your assistance in making all this happen. It's been great, and thanks to everybody out there for coming out and shooting the matches and working with all our fabulous sponsors that provide stuff for you guys to use and up the game. And sometimes it's a gear game or it's a points game. Sometimes it's a combination of both. We like both sides of it, right? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you, guys.
We'll talk to everyone later.
See you all on the firing line. Have a good night. Thanks.